Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, November 7th, 2025. It's not going to be your long, typical Friday podcast for personal reasons. So, NFL, college football, NBA, NHL, college basketball, soccer, golf. On this day, news and notes, best bet, Fab 5. We'll do NFL. We'll talk about the game from last night and look ahead to Sunday. The Broncos beat the Raiders by a score of 10-7. It was an ugly game. Denver home crowd was booing. And everyone is pointing at Denver and calling them frauds. All right, so I am for this is going to just give out picks where I'm going to go for each game. And same for the college. All right. Falcons Colts from Germany, 9:30. My line is Colts by 8, total 46.25. And it is 6.5 and 48.5. Under. All right. Next pick I'm gonna give out. Bears minus 4.5 against the Giants. I just think this is a layup. I'm gonna announce Fab 5 at the end of the show, obviously. Slight under 49.5 in Bills Dolphins. Vikings plus 4.5 against the Ravens. Over 37.5 in Browns Jets. I don't know why that is that low. So New England plus 2.5 against the Bucks and plus 120. Bucks still have a lot of injuries, and a lot of people think it's a layup for Tampa. Panthers minus 5.5 at home against the Saints. Jaguars minus 1.5 at the Texans. That's a Davis Mills thing. Seahawks minus 6.5 at home against the Cardinals. Under 49.5 in Rams Niners. That is way too high. Although I had the under in a Niner game last week, it burned me. A slight over 48.5 in Lions Commanders. And then over 44.5 in Steelers Chargers, even though Joe Alt is hurt. College football. I promise this is the only week that we're going to be doing it like this. Georgia Southern over App State 25-23 and South Florida over UTSA 55-23. All right, the picks I'm going to give out. But yeah, like I'm not even giving out my own projections. Like that's how much limited time I have today. Houston minus 1.5 against UCF. Northwestern plus 13 to hook at USC. And slight over 53.5 Tulane Memphis. And then Saturday, under 55.5 in Indiana Penn State. Why can't I find this game? Oh. A lot of these lines are closer projection-wise than I thought. That might actually not be a bad thing. Slight lean towards Mississippi State plus 9.5. BYU plus 10.5. I don't know why everybody hates BYU. SMU minus 10.5 against BC. Colorado plus 6.5 against West Virginia. This is a difficult one. Marshall plus 13.5 against James Madison. Arkansas State plus 4.5 at home against Southern Miss. Over 45.5 in Temple Army. Purdue plus 29.5 against Ohio State. The Citadel plus 53.5 against Ole Miss. That's just a sandwich spot for the Rebels. Maybe they win by 50. This is a little bit of a tricky one, too. Missouri State plus 7.5 against Lib. Bowling Green plus 2.5 against Eastern Michigan. Over 52.5 in UAB Rice. I just have to look up this particular line, obviously. Under 56.5 in Maryland Rutgers. Delaware plus 5 in the hook against Louisiana Tech. FIU plus 1.5 against Middle Tennessee. Slight over 49.5 in Jacksonville State UTEP. Charlotte plus 28.5 against East Carolina. Florida Atlantic minus 3.5 against Tulsa. Oh wait, Missouri's not college football playoff ranked. So Missouri plus 6.5 against number 3 Texas A&M. The over's a better over. I'm gonna give out the over in that game instead. Sorry guys. Iowa plus 6.5 is enticing, but over 42.5 is the play. I think Oregon might do that by themselves. Syracuse plus 28.5 against Miami. I can't believe I'm doing this, but UConn plus 9.5 against Duke. I've been against UConn so much this year. I've actually on them. I'm not gonna put them in 5-5, but I'm actually giving them out. Kansas getting 5.5 against Arizona. Iowa State plus 7.5 against TCU. Vandy minus 6.5 against Auburn. New Mexico State, Kansas State under 52.5. Coastal Carolina minus 7.5 against Georgia State. Wisconsin plus 11.5 against Washington. Stanford plus 7.5 against Belichick in Carolina. Louisiana plus 3.5 against Texas State. And plus 130 straight up. San Jose State minus 5.5 against Air Force. Number 14, Virginia minus 6.5 against Wake. Cal plus 18.5 against Louisville. Clemson minus 1.5 against Florida State. That's not being in Fab 5. God, no. LSU plus 10.5 against Bama. Navy plus 27.5 against Notre Dame. Kentucky plus 3.5 against Florida. And plus 132 to win. Utah State minus 9.5 against Nevada. So, over 44.5, Nebraska, UCLA. UNLV, Colorado State under 61.5. Sam Houston State plus 20.5 against Oregon State. I'm surprised I'm going against Oregon State here. I thought I overinflated that number. Wow. And then Hawaii getting 6.5 against San Diego State at home. Okay, now we'll move on to the NBA. We'll recap the games from yesterday, and I'm going to give out the picks in the same style as I just did with college football. Only one game yesterday. The Suns beat the Clippers 115-102. All right. The picks I'm going to give out for tonight in the NBA. Magic minus 3.5 against the Celtics. The Wizards. Yes, the Wizards. Plus 14 at home against the Cavs. The Raptors plus 2 against the Hawks. The Pistons minus 10.5 at Brooklyn. Over 223.5 between the Rockets and the Spurs. Charlotte plus 5 against Miami. The Mavericks plus 4.5 against the Grizzlies. The Bucks minus 4.5 against the Bulls. Under 233.5 between the Jazz and the Timberwolves. Under 228.5 between the Warriors and the Nuggets. And over 233.5 between the Thunder and the Kings. All right, Saturday slate. 7 o'clock Mavs Wizards, 7:30 Raptors Sixers, 8 o'clock NBA TV Lakers Hawks, Bulls Cavs Blazers Heat, Pelicans Spurs, 9 o'clock Pacers Nuggets, and 10:30 on ESPN Suns Clippers. So I'm surprised that we have a random ESPN game on a Saturday night. Did they just randomly add that? That's so weird. And then Sunday 3:30 Rockets Bucks, 6 o'clock Nets Knicks, Celtics Magic, Thunder Grizzlies, 7:30 Pistons Sixers, Pacers Warriors at 8:30, and then 9 o'clock is T-Wolves Kings. Okay, now we'll move on to hockey. We'll go over the results from yesterday, and then tonight's picks we'll give out in the same style, and then we'll do the schedule in the same format as we did with the NBA. Bruins over the Senators 3-2 in overtime. Blues over the Sabres 3-0. Devils over the Habs 4-3 in overtime. Hurricanes over the Wild 4-3. Pens over the Caps 5-3. Flyers over the Preds 3-1. Ducks over the Stars 7-5. Lightning over the Golden Knights 6-3. Panthers over the Kings 5-2. Alrighty. Only 4 games tonight. Um, First pick I'm gonna give out. I hate to do it. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna go under 5.5 plus 114 in Rangers Red Wings. I was gonna take the Rangers straight up, but I'm not gonna do it. Um, Under 6.5 in Wild Islanders. Um, I'm gonna take the Blackhawks again plus 136 against the Flames, and then I'm gonna go lay 1.5 with the Winnipeg Jets at plus 122 against the Sharks. All right, Saturday, 12:30 Pens Devils, 1 o'clock Sens Flyers, 3:30 Stars Preds, 7 o'clock Bruins Leafs, Isles Rangers, Mammoth Habs, Caps Lightning, Sabres Canes, Kraken Blues, 10 o'clock Avs Oilers, Jackets Canucks, Ducks Golden Knights, and Panthers Sharks. Sunday, 1 o'clock NHL Network, Blackhawks Red Wings, 2 o'clock Kings Penguins, 7 o'clock Canes Leafs, Mammoth Senators, Kraken Stars, 8 o'clock Flames Wild, 10 o'clock Avs Canucks, Jets Ducks. Okay, now we'll do college basketball. I did not even do projections for college basketball. We'll just go over results from yesterday and look ahead to the slate for tonight and the weekend. So yesterday, LI over IU Indy 94-90. Number 11 Louisville over Jackson State 106-70. How about this? Northwood beats Western Michigan 85-81. So Western Michigan loses to a D2 school. West Virginia over Campbell 73-65. Boston College over the Citadel 76-47. Ohio over Illinois State 72-68. Quinnipiac over Central Connecticut 71-49. Xavier over Lemoyne 74-69. Miami over Bethune 101-61. Robert Morris over Drake 81-79 in OT. Number 3 Florida over North Florida 104-64. Number 16 Iowa State over Grambling 102-62. Number 20 Auburn over Merrimack 95-57. South Alabama over Alcorn State 76-70. Texas A&M over Texas Southern 104-70. UC Riverside over North Dakota 74-70. Abilene Christian over Omaha 73-71. Northridge over Northern Iowa over CS Northridge 86-57. SMU over A&M Corpus Christi 69-58. St. Louis over Chicago State 108-86. TC over St. Francis 104-63. Mercyhurst over Loyola Chicago 73-65. Washington over Denver 84-70. Cal over Wright State 77-67. And Portland over Arkansas Pine Bluff 83-74. Okay. Tonight, 5 o'clock Northeastern Colgate. Right now, by the way, is Columbia New Haven. NSIU Edwardsville UTSA. 6 o'clock on YouTube, Charleston Liberty. On Peacock, BU Northwestern. Fox Sports 1, Georgetown, Maryland. CBS Sports Network, Tulsa, Rhode Island Veterans Classic. 6:30 Green Bay Buffalo. Big Ten Network, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Ohio State. 7 o'clock Peacock, Oakland at number 1, Purdue. Valpo, number 9, Kentucky. On ESPN, number 19, Kansas, number 25, North Carolina. Great game. I wish I made a line at least for this. I think the Jayhawks can win. I think the Jayhawks go in there and win. Just a gut feeling. Arkansas State, Stephen F. Austin. Alabama State, Florida State. Winthrop, George Mason. Troy Furman. Hofstra, Iona. Wazoo, Davidson. Western Illinois, Iowa. Kent State, Cornell. Charlotte, Tennessee Tech. Cincinnati, Georgia State. Brown, Siena. Wake, Morehead State. Virginia, NC Central. And obviously, I reversed the host order those last couple. Longwood, Pitt, Detroit, Notre Dame, Sacred Heart, Duquesne, Gardner Webb, Clemson, Bucknell, Mount St. Mary's, UMass, Lowell, number 4, UConn on Peacock. Monroe, Ole Miss, Wagner, Seton Hall, Bryant, Georgia Tech, Sam Houston, number 10, Texas State, Southeast Missouri, KC, Southern Illinois, Mississippi Valley State, Murray State at 8. These last couple games are at 8. Stonehill, DePaul, VCU, Utah State, Nichols, Eastern Illinois, 8:30 Peacock, Florida Gulf Coast, number 17, Illinois, Big Ten Network, Northern Illinois, number 24, Wisconsin, SC State, Sanford, VMI, Southern Indiana, Veterans Classic, Yale, Navy on CBS Sports Network, Southeast Louisiana, Louisiana. 9 o'clock, TNT and True TV, Utah second, number 13, Arizona. Idaho State, San Diego. Youngstown State, Grand Canyon. UAB, NC State on the ACC Network. 10 o'clock, Rice, Oregon. McNeese, Santa Clara. UIC, Oregon State. 10:30, Big Ten Network, Pepperdine, number 12, UCLA. Chattanooga, St. Mary's, and Cal Baptist, UC Irvine. Saturday's loaded, of course. Fox Sports 1 at noon. Number 15, Alabama. Number 5, St. John's. That's surprising that made Fox Sports 1 on the college football Saturday. Alcorn State, Minnesota. Princeton, Akron, 1 o'clock. Kennesaw State, Florida A&M. Penn State, New Haven. FIU, Nebraska. Drexel, St. Joe's. Delaware State, Syracuse. 1:30, CW, West Carolina, number 6, Duke. Peacock, South Florida, George Washington. 2 o'clock, Texas State, Tulane. Marshall, Toledo. Fairfield, NJIT. Milwaukee, Wofford. UMBC, Dayton, Niagara, Binghamton. Fairleigh Dickinson, St. Peter's. 3 o'clock, Towson, number 2, Houston. Northern Kentucky, number 18, Tennessee. Unity, Asheville, Georgia Southern. Lafayette, Texas. San Fran, Memphis. Monmouth, LaSalle. San Jose State, Santa Barbara. Elon, UNC, Greensboro. Those games are 4. William Mary, Norfolk State. Vandy, UCF. Texas, Arlington, New Mexico. Utah Valley, Boise State. Fullerton, Wyoming, Ossipee Air Force. Eastern Washington, Colorado. On Peacock, Providence, Virginia Tech. Montana, Stanford. Kenesha, St. Bonaventure. 5 o'clock, Fresno State, Long Beach State. Iowa, Indy, Butler. Maine, Stony Brook. 6 o'clock, Albany, UMass. Field of 68 tip-off. FAU, Charleston. East Tennessee State, Presbyterian. East Carolina, Richmond. 7 o'clock on Fox. Number 14, Arkansas. Number 22, Michigan State. Prairie View, Wichita State. Queens, Villanova. A&M, Corpus Christi, Tarleton State. Weber State, Utah. 8 o'clock, Army and St. Thomasman. Central Michigan, Bradley. Bellarmine, Kansas State. Tennessee State, Belmont. Texas, Rio Grande, Southern Utah, 8:30. 9 o'clock, Holy Cross, number 8, BYU. Arkansas, Pine Bluff, William Merrimack. Chattanooga, UNLV. 10 o'clock, Houston Christian, UC San Diego. Cal Poly, Seattle. Pacific, Nebraska. And 10:30 on ESPN2. Oklahoma, number 21, Gonzaga. Sunday at noon, New Hampshire, Harvard. 12:30, West Michigan, Campbell. 1 o'clock, NC Central, App State. On ESPN, Indiana, Marquette. Coppin St. James, Madison, Pan American. 2 o'clock, Morgan State, Georgia. Lipscomb, Mercer. Lemoyne, Bowling Green. Cal State, Northridge, North Dakota. South Dakota State, Northern Iowa. Vermont, Brown. Marist, Dartmouth. A&M, Oklahoma State on ESPN2. Cornell, Illinois State. 3 o'clock, Denver, Mountain State. Lehigh, West Virginia. Utah Tech, Arizona State. 4:30, VMI, Missouri. 5 o'clock, North Texas, Loyola, Chicago. UC Davis, Portland, Idaho State, San Diego State. Grambling, Howard at 6. FAU, Liberty on YouTube. Manhattan SC, Omaha, Colorado State. 6:30, Southern Miss, South Carolina. 8:30 on ESPN, Washington, Baylor. And then at 1 a.m. into Monday morning, East Texas, A&M in Hawaii. So there you have it for college basketball. Now we'll do soccer. We will only pick the MLS games because they're playoff games. We'll go over notable results from yesterday and look ahead to today and the weekend. Europa League. Celta Vigo over Dynamo Zagreb 3-0. FC Basel over SVSB 3-1. FC Midtjylland over Celtic 3-1. FC Utrecht, FC Porto 1-1 draw. Panathinaikos over Malmo FF 1-0. SC Freiburg over Nice 3-1. RB Salzburg over Go Ahead Eagles 2-0. Red Star over Lille 1-0. SK Sturm Graz and Nottingham 0-0 draw. Aston Villa over Maccabi Tel Aviv 2-0. Bologna SK Brand 0-0 draw. Racing Genk over Braga 4-3. Ferencváros over Ludogorets 3-1. PAOK Slavia over Young Boys 4-0. AS Roma over Rangers 2-0. Real Betis over Lyon 2-0. VfB Stuttgart over Feyenoord 2-0. And Victoria Plzen and Fenerbahce 0-0 draw. Conference League. Shamrock Rovers AEK Athens 1-1 draw. AEK Laranka Aberdeen 0-0 draw. Sigma over FC 2-1. Cups Copino over Slovan Bratislava 3-1. Mainz over Fiorentina 2-1. NK Celje over Legia 2-1. Samspor over Hamrin 3-0. Shakhtar over Bridabolic 2-0. Sparta Prague over Cal 0-0 draw. Strasbourg over PK Hacken 2-1. Crystal Palace over AZ Alkmaar 3-1. Dynamo Kyiv over Zerzinski 6-0. KF Shkinta and Jagiellania 1-1 draw. Lausanne Almania 1-1 draw. Lincoln and Rijeka 1-1 draw. CSU over Rapid Vienna 1-0. Real Valenciano over Lech Ponzin 3-2. And Dorita Jalan over Shelbourne 1-0. All right, 2:30 today, German Bundesliga. Werder Bremen and VfL Wolfsburg. 3 o'clock, La Liga, Elche Real Sociedad. Women's League tonight, 8 o'clock, Orlando, Seattle. Liga MX, FC Juarez Querétaro at 8, 10 o'clock, Mazatlan, Necaxa, and Tijuana Atlas. Serie A, Pisa, and Cremonese at 2:45. French League 1, Paris FC and Stade Rennes. Dutch Eredivisie, FC 20 Telstar going on now, 3 o'clock. ELC, Watford, Bristol City. And MLS tonight, 7 o'clock on Apple TV Plus, Charlotte and NYCFC. Winner advances to the next round. Charlotte plus 150, NYCFC plus 185, draw plus 20. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to kicks potentially. And based on that, I'm going to go with the draw plus 220. All right, Saturday, EPL, 7:30, Tottenham, Man United. 10 o'clock, Everton, Fulham, West Ham, Burnley, Sunderland, Arsenal at 12:30. And 3 o'clock on NBC, Chelsea, Wolverhampton. La Liga, 8 o'clock, Girona and Alaves, 10:15, Sevilla and Osasuna. 12:30, Atletico Madrid, Levante. 3 o'clock, Espanyol, Villarreal. Bundesliga, 9:30, FC Union Berlin, Bayern. Bayer Leverkusen, FC Heidenheim, Hamburg, Borussia, Hoffenheim, RP Leipzig. 12:30, Borussia and FC Cologne. Women's League and CBS at noon tomorrow, Washington, Louisville. Liga MX, 6 o'clock, Tigres, Atletico, Guadalajara, Monterrey. 8 o'clock, Leon, Puebla, Fluca America, and 10:05, Cruz Azul and UNAM. Serie A, 9 o'clock, Como Cagliari, Lecce, Verona, noon, Juventus, Torino, 2:45, Parma, AC Milan. French League 1, 11 o'clock, Marseille, Brest. 1 o'clock, Le Havre, AC, Nantes. 3 o'clock, AS Monaco and Lens. Dutch Eredivisie, 10:30, Excelsior and Heracles. 12:45, FC Volendam, NAC Breda. 2 o'clock, Fortuna and Heerenveen. And 3 o'clock, PC Zwolle and Sparta. ELC, 7:30, Blackburn Derby. Hull City, Portsmouth. Millwall, Preston. 10 o'clock, Middlesbrough, Birmingham. Norwich, Leicester. Sheffield United, Queen's Park. Southampton, Sheffield Wednesday. Stoke City, Coventry City. Swansea City, Ipswich. West Brom, Oxford, and Wrexham, Charlton. All right, MLS, Saturday, 4 o'clock, Minnesota, Seattle, Game 3. Seattle plus 120, Minnesota 2-1, draw plus 250. I think Seattle's better. I'm taking them plus 120. 6 o'clock, Cincinnati, Columbus, great game. Cincy plus 140, Columbus plus 275, draw plus 250. I'm going to go with the draw plus 250. I think it's a close one. And then 8 o'clock, Miami, Nashville. Miami minus 10, Nashville plus 470, draw plus 380. Under a lot of pressure is Lionel Messi and company. I'm going to go under 3.5 goals, though, at minus 118. All right, Sunday, Premier League, 9 o'clock, Aston Villa, AFC Bournemouth, Brentford, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Brighton and Hove, Nottingham, Leeds, and 11:30, Man City and Liverpool. La Liga, 8 o'clock, Athletic Club and Real Oviedo, 10:15, Real Valenciano and Real Madrid, 12:30, Mallorca, Getafe, Valencia, Real Betis, and 3 o'clock, Celta Vigo, Barcelona. Bundesliga, 9:30, FC Freiburg and St. Pauli, 11:30, VfB Stuttgart and FC Augsburg, and Eintracht Frankfurt and Mainz. Women's League, 12:30 ABC, KC Gotham, and 3 o'clock ABC, Portland and San Diego. Liga MX, 6 o'clock Santos Pachuca. Serie A, 6:30 Atalanta Sassuolo. 9 o'clock Bologna Napoli. Genoa Fiorentina. Nunes Roma Udinese, and 2:45 Inter Lazio. French League 1, 9 o'clock Lorient Toulouse. 11:15 Angers AJ Auxerre. Metz Nice, Strasbourg Lille, and 2:45 Lyon and PSG. Dutch Eredivisie, 6:15 FC Utrecht and Ajax. 8:30 NEC Nijmegen and FC Groningen. 10:45 AZ Alkmaar and PSV Eindhoven. And 2 o'clock Go Ahead Eagles and Feyenoord. Scottish Premiership, 10 o'clock Motherwell Dundee, or Aberdeen Motherwell, Dundee Rangers, Hearts Dundee United, and 11 o'clock Celtic and Kilmarnock. And then MLS Sunday night at 9 o'clock, San Diego Portland. San Diego minus 190, Portland plus 410, draw plus 340. Now San Diego's under some pressure to win this game. I'm going to go over 3.5 goals at plus 124 for that one. We don't have time for golf, so we're going to move on to, on this day, I'm going to do it really quickly. Can't really do much analysis here because of time. Here we go. On this day, November 7th, 2017, Roy Halladay dies in a plane crash. Wow. That was that long ago. 2022, Colts fire Frank Reich. And then brought in Jeff Saturday. 2016, Stephen Curry breaks singles game 3-point record. 2017, Bucks acquire Eric Bledsoe. 2020, number 4 Notre Dame defeats number 1 Clemson in a thriller. I remember that game. 2023, Titans name Will Levis starting quarterback. Ooh. 2014, Cardinals extend Carson Palmer. 2015, Nebraska upsets number 7 Michigan State. 2018, Saints signed Dez Bryant. I don't even remember Dez Bryant being on the Saints. 2024, Panthers extend Chuba Hubbard. 2020, Blue Jays re-sign Robbie Ray. 2024, Billy Napier returning to Florida for 2025. Well, that didn't last. He was fired not even a year later. Okay, now we'll do the news and notes for today. Again, very quick. So, DeForest Buckner to IR. He'll be out 4 games. Jaden Daniels unlikely to go on IR, which is weird. They're to reevaluate the elbow injury during the bye. Pete Carroll says that Geno Smith has a quad contusion. That feels like an excuse injury. Jackson Powers Johnson didn't return against the Broncos because of an ankle injury. The Bucs are thinking late November, December for Chris Godwin's return. Kyle Shanahan is pretty confident that Brock Purdy will play again this season. John Heyman says the Tigers training Terry Skubal makes no sense. The Dodgers designate Tony Gonsolin for assignment, which is crazy. Dodgers keeping Max Muncy to pick up club option. The Rockies are hiring Paul De Pedesa to be the head of baseball operations. Murakami is to be Munetaka Muramaki is to be posted today. And there's a scout that thinks that his defensive abilities won't be enough for the Yankees. We never seen this guy play, so we don't know. Dolphins remove Papa Shot as locker room changes made amid 2-7 season. Garrett Wilson says he trusts the Jets' vision moving forward. Okay. Jaguars playing 2027 in Orlando as the team temporarily relocating while Everbank Stadium undergoes renovations. That's interesting. The Orlando Jaguars. Victor Oladipo signs with the G League. Zion Williamson's trade value is down as teams aren't super high on Zion right now. Why should they be? The Pacers are waving Mac McClung for Monte Morris. The Rockets are a team to watch for Ja Morant because of Fred VanVleet's injury. So Jalen Green is finally came back the other day against the Clippers. And then Bam Adebayo has a left big toe sprain, so he's out tonight. There was a moment of silence for Marshawn Kneeland last night. That was very nice of the Broncos to do that. I think every home team should do that this weekend, personally. Bo Nix talked about the home crowd boos. He says he's ready for anything in Denver. So, there you have it for the news and notes. Best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. So, best bet for today is going to go to should I go with the NBA or college football? I'm going to go with the NBA for best bet. And I'm going to take the Hornets getting 7 against the Heat. I just think that no Bam out is a big deal, and obviously no Harrow. And I don't know why. I know Brandon Miller's out, but, like, they can hang around. Why not? So that's that. Fab 5. We'll start in college. There's a lot of games I have my eye on. Pick number 1. I'm going to go with BYU getting the 10 in the hook. Against Texas Tech. I just think that is too high. Pick number 2 of the Fab 5. I'm going to take Delaware getting the 5 in the hook against the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. I just think that is too high. Pick number 3, I'm going to take Missouri getting 6.5 at home against Texas A&M. No. I wanted to take that, but the over in that game is enticing, so I'm going to go over 48.5 in A&M and Missouri. Pick number 4 of Fab 5. I'm going to go over 42.5 in Oregon, Iowa. I think that is a extremely high number as well. And the last pick of Fab 5 is going to be there's two I'm eyeing. I'm surprised how many totals I went with this week because I usually don't do a lot of totals in college football. Um, so I'm still deciding on the last pick. Okay, last pick I'm actually gonna go in a weird direction. I'm gonna take Coastal Carolina -7.5 against Georgia State. I've taken Coastal Carolina a lot this year, like bet on them, and I think I had them in Fab 5 one other time, and they did good to me. Or maybe I picked them as best bet. But I'm gonna lay Coastal Carolina 7.5. And my underdog to win outright. I'm gonna double down and I'm gonna take Delaware at +172 against the Tigers of. I'm sorry, the Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech. I saw Louisiana at LSU in my head. All right, and then now the NFL Fab 5, which, in my opinion, there's a couple really easy ones and a couple of hard calls. Pick number 1, it's my favorite bet of the week. I hate it from my heart, but I love it just to bet on it. I love the Bears -4.5 against the Giants. I just think this Giants team is just completely finished. I really think that game against Denver will forever haunt them. And it may lead to the end of Brian Daboll. So I'm going to lay 4.5 with the Bears against the Giants. Pick number 2, I'm going to lay 1.5 with the Jaguars against the Texans. Again, this is an anti-Davis Mills pick more than anything. So I'm going to lay 1.5 with the Jags against the Texans. Pick number 3, I'm laying 5.5 with the Panthers at home against the Saints. I just think the Saints are bad, and Tyler Shucks, their quarterback. Pick number 4, I'm going to lay 6.5 with the Seahawks against the Cardinals. I just think that the Cardinals are just gonna. I just think the Seahawks are just riding really high right now. And then pick number 5, I'm gonna go with the total. I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go back to the well and take another under. It was between the under 49.5 and Rams 49ers or over 44.5 and Steelers Chargers. The Joe Alt injury worries me, although the Steeler defense is bad. But I like the under 49.5 and Rams Niners. If I lose, wait, I don't know, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. That's a cheaper price. I based it off the price this time. And I'm going to do the same thing I did last week with Underdog outright. I'm just going to parlay a couple. It worked out last week. I'm going to try it again. The Jags are not an underdog, so I can't do them. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to put the Jets in there at plus 110 against the Browns. Little Ewing theory game for them. The Patriots plus 120 against the Bucks. And the Steelers plus 126 at the Chargers with no Joe Alt. And I might throw the Philadelphia Eagles in there too. But that'd be getting a little greedy if I threw the Eagles in. The payout would be really good if I did put them in. Yeah, you know what? I am going to put the Eagles in there against Green Bay. Tucker Kraft is such a big loss. And I just think the Eagles are going to paint their flag that the NFC's theirs and nobody else's. So, 4 legs, because I can't come up with a dog that meets the over plus 125 or over criteria. Jets, New England Steelers. I could just do the Steelers straight up and call it a day. But that bet is so fun. You know what? I'm just going to scratch that and just take the Steelers. I'm sorry. I stared at it and I said to myself, why am I putting the Jets in there? The Patriots are due to lose. Green Bay might have a Ewing theory thing without Kraft, so I think the Steelers are just a safe one at plus 126 against the Chargers without Joe Alt and the running backs. All right, so there you have it for the show. Sorry that money line thing took a little longer than expected. I'll be doing the shows, or a vast majority of the shows next week from sunny Florida. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, everyone.